The global energy landscape is shifting, power dynamics are changing, a new map is being drawn. Canada and Qatar are emerging as major players, challenging the United States' long-held dominance. The energy crisis triggered by the war in Ukraine exposed Europe's reliance on Russian gas. This vulnerability forced a rapid reassessment of energy security. New alliances are being forged. New energy routes are being established. Canada, rich in natural gas reserves, sees an opportunity. Its ambitious plan to ship liquefied natural gas to Asia signals a major geopolitical shift. Qatar, already an LNG giant, is strengthening its ties with Europe, securing lucrative long-term deals. These developments have profound implications for the global balance of power. The United States, once the undisputed leader in energy production, faces a new reality. The energy landscape is no longer defined solely by oil. Natural gas, particularly LNG, is reshaping the game. Canada is making a bold move. The country is betting big on LNG, the goal to become a major supplier to Asia's booming economies. At the heart of this strategy is LNG Canada, a massive export terminal under construction on Canada's west coast. This project represents the largest private sector investment in Canadian history. It's a clear signal of Canada's ambition to diversify its energy exports away from the United States. The economic benefits for Canada are undeniable. LNG Canada promises jobs, investment, and revenue. But the project has also sparked controversy. Indigenous communities whose traditional territories are impacted by the pipeline and terminal have raised concerns about environmental damage and their rights. Canada's pivot to Asia represents a strategic shift. It reduces the country's dependence on the US market. It positions Canada as a key player in the global LNG trade, and it highlights the growing importance of Asia in the global energy landscape. Qatar is seizing the moment. The tiny Gulf nation is leveraging its vast natural gas reserves to forge closer ties with Europe. In the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, European countries are desperate to reduce their dependence on Russian gas. Qatar, the world's largest exporter of LNG, has emerged as a key partner. Long-term deals have been signed, securing Qatar's position as a reliable supplier. These agreements are a win-win for both sides. Europe gets much-needed energy security. Qatar gains guaranteed markets for its LNG, but there's a catch. The reliance on natural gas, even from a stable supplier like Qatar, complicates Europe's ambitious climate goals. The expansion of LNG infrastructure locks in fossil fuel dependence for decades to come. This raises questions about the compatibility of energy security and climate action. It also highlights the difficult choices Europe faces as it navigates a complex energy landscape. The United States is losing its grip on the global energy market. For decades, the US was the world's swing producer, capable of influencing prices and shaping energy flows. But that era is fading. The rise of Canada and Qatar as major LNG exporters challenges US dominance. The shale revolution, which initially propelled the US to the forefront of energy production, has plateaued. And the Biden administration's focus on clean energy has raised questions about the long-term role of fossil fuels in US energy policy. Past US actions have also contributed to this shift. The Trump administration's trade wars and tariffs strained relationships with key allies. These policies created uncertainty and encouraged countries to seek alternative energy suppliers. The US is still a major player in the global energy market, but its influence is waning. The rise of new energy powers and the changing dynamics of the global energy landscape are reshaping the balance of power. Europe is at a crossroads. The continent is grappling with an energy crisis while striving to achieve its ambitious climate goals. Balancing these competing priorities is proving to be a daunting challenge. The European Union's REPowerEU plan aims to rapidly reduce dependence on Russian fossil fuels. The plan focuses on accelerating the transition to renewable energy sources like wind and solar power. But honestly, the reality is that Europe will still need reliable sources of fossil fuels in the short to medium term. This is where LNG comes in. Natural gas, while still a fossil fuel, is considered a cleaner alternative to coal. LNG imports from reliable suppliers like Qatar and the United States can help bridge the gap as Europe transitions to a cleaner energy future. But this reliance on LNG, even temporarily, raises concerns. Critics argue that it locks in fossil fuel infrastructure and delays the transition to renewables. Europe faces a delicate balancing act, securing its energy supply while staying true to its climate commitments. The global energy landscape is being redrawn. It's not just about who has the resources, it's about how those resources are transported, where they are shipped, and honestly, who controls the infrastructure. The rise of LNG has led to a surge in the construction of new export terminals and import facilities. Pipelines are being built and expanded to connect production centers with coastal terminals, and a new generation of LNG tankers is plying the seas. This new energy map is creating opportunities and challenges. Countries with access to LNG infrastructure and strategically located ports are gaining leverage. New alliances are being forged based on energy security considerations, and traditional geopolitical rivalries are being reshaped by the evolving energy landscape. The scramble for energy security is intensifying. Control over LNG routes, ports, and infrastructure is becoming increasingly important. The new energy diplomacy is playing out on a global scale with profound implications for the balance of power. The global energy landscape is in flux. The rise of new energy powers like Canada and Qatar, the shifting priorities of the United States, and the urgent need to address climate change are creating a complex and uncertain future. Several key questions loom large. Will the United States be able to regain its lost influence in the global energy market? Can Canada and Qatar continue to expand their LNG production and exports without jeopardizing their own climate goals? How can the world balance the need for energy security with the imperative to transition to a more sustainable energy future? These questions have no easy answers. The choices made by governments, businesses, and individuals in the coming years will have far-reaching consequences. The stakes are high, and honestly, the need for cooperation and innovation has never been greater. A new energy order is emerging. The old hierarchies are crumbling. New power dynamics are taking shape. The energy landscape is being redrawn. The rise of LNG is reshaping global energy flows. New alliances are being forged based on energy security considerations. And the climate crisis is forcing a fundamental reassessment of energy policies and priorities. The future of global energy is uncertain. But one thing is clear, the old order is gone. A new energy map is being drawn, and the world must navigate this new landscape with wisdom, foresight, and honestly, a commitment to a sustainable future.